Day 43, verses 64 to 66, the Ascent to Peace. Namaste and welcome to Gita 360. In the previous verses, the Gita showed how the mind slowly loses its way, how a single unchecked thought can grow into attachment, desire, anger, confusion, and eventually inner collapse. In verses 64 to 66, we see the way back to peace. After describing the chain that pulls us down, the Gita shows the path that restores clarity and peace. But one who controls the mind and is free from attachment and aversion and controls his sense even while using the objects of the senses attains the divine grace. In our life, we pass through experiences we like and dislike. Some things attract us, some things repel us. The mind keeps moving between craving and resistance. I want this. I do not want that. I hope this stays. I hope that never comes. This constant push and pull between what we want and what we do not want sometimes exhausts us. Freedom begins when we stop allowing every like and dislike to control our inner state. We can enjoy what comes without clinging to it. We can face what is difficult without carrying bitterness. That creates a deep inner balance, a sense of calm and quiet. And from that balance comes what the Gita calls prasadam, a state of inner grace, calmness, and clarity. A mind that is clear, light, and no longer constantly disturbed. And what is striking is the fact that the anger did not begin at the moment of reaction. It began far earlier in a thought that quietly stayed in the mind and gathered power. By divine grace comes the peace in which all material miseries end, and the intellect of such a person of tranquil mind soon becomes firmly established in God. This verse states one of the most beautiful truths in the Gita. Peace is the best healer. When the mind is tranquil, lightness enters our life. We still face the same world, have the same responsibilities, and see the same challenges, but the way we hold or react to them begins to change. When the mind is peaceful, life is experienced differently. Not every difficulty enters deeply into us. Not every disappointment becomes a wound. Not every worry grows into fear. Imagine the mind like a computer with limited storage. When all these redundancies are removed, the mind gains space. And in that space, there is room to breathe, room to reflect, and room to respond with awareness rather than impulse. And in that state, wisdom becomes stable. We think clearly. We respond thoughtfully. We make better choices. We stop reacting from wounded emotion and begin acting from understanding. This is why the Gita links peace with wisdom. A disturbed mind reacts quickly. A settled mind understands what truly deserves attention, what needs patience, and what is better released. The Gita assures us that peace is not just comforting, it is transformative. But one who has not controlled the mind and senses can neither have a resolute intellect nor transcendental intelligence. Without this, there is no peace, and how can one who lacks peace be happy? A mind that is unrestrained and constantly moving cannot think deeply. It may be active, busy, and full of thoughts, but it lacks the stillness needed for real reflection. Without true reflection, there is no wisdom. A person may know many things, read widely, and gather information from countless sources, yet still remain inwardly confused. Wisdom is not merely knowing more, it is understanding life clearly. When that understanding is missing, the mind has no center of gravity. It keeps moving outward, pulled by desire, fear, comparison, worry, and impulse. One moment it runs towards something it wants. The next moment it runs away from something it fears. It keeps searching, reacting, and chasing without ever truly coming to rest. And a restless mind cannot experience peace. It may experience excitement, pleasure, achievement, or temporary satisfaction. But these are passing states. Peace is different. Peace is what allows the mind to calm down and center. It is what allows the heart to feel anchored. It is what gives a person the strength to remain balanced even when life becomes uncertain. Peace is the very foundation on which happiness stands. Without peace, happiness is fragile. That is why the Gita asks, if there is no peace within, where can lasting happiness possibly come from? This is a truth we often overlook. We spend years chasing happiness while neglecting the inner discipline that makes happiness possible in the first place. The Gita turns our attention back to the foundation. Build peace within, and happiness will come to you. Think of the days when your mind feels calm. You speak differently, you listen better, you make clearer decisions. Problems that normally feel overwhelming seem manageable. Even ordinary moments, a conversation, a walk, a quiet meal, a few moments alone, carry a different quality. Now think of days when your mind feels disturbed. Even small things begin to irritate. Patience becomes thin. Thoughts become crowded. One worry pulls another behind it. Rest feels difficult. Joy feels distant. The outer world may not have changed very much, but your inner state changes everything. That is the Gita's wisdom. Peace is not simply one part of life. It shapes how all of life is experienced. When the mind becomes calmer, life itself begins to feel lighter. Thought of the day. In the pursuit of happiness and peace today, ask yourself, what is disturbing my peace right now? Am I giving my mind the discipline and care it needs to become still? Thank you for joining me on Gita 360. May peace begin to settle within you, bringing clarity to your mind, softness to your heart, and quiet strength to your life.